Okay, now here's the fun thing. I've been doing this project all wrong, and I wish I taught myself this trick sooner. I've been doing everything in 12 FPS. If you want to make your life easier, don't do that. Go in 3 frames per second, make 3 keyframes, and then make like in between frames after that. I'll show you. Don't worry about this, and don't worry about the audio. I shut it off. Just trust me, it should work the way I'm thinking it will. But this is all just going to be a bunch of copy and paste frames now. So, oh god, I don't really have to worry about that lining up. Just move on to the next section. So there you go. Bam, bam, bam. 3 keyframes. You got the start, you got the in-between, and you got the finished motion. And so then I'm going to show you the in-between frames, and this animation's going to change pace a lot, I'm realizing, because I'm only doing this trick now, which I didn't do for the whole start of the video. A better example on how I did the whole in-between frame thing was on this video, which still isn't done, but shush. So I'm pretty sure, okay, so if I remember right, my 3 frames were this, and this. So right here and right here, we had 1, 2 in between frames. So you'd have one that's a little bit bigger than 1, like one that's a little bit more into the movement than 2, and then you have one that's almost at the movement, but not quite there yet. So then, I don't remember how exactly I did this. Yeah, this was one I added just for a little bit extra length. So really this has 1, 2... Oh, I did give this one 3 in between frames, and I think I know why I did that. I think I messed up my own strategy, but it works anyways. And I think it was just because of how I did some of this, but it's okay. So now this plays like this. So yeah, like I showed there, you could do 3 in between frames rather than 2. I find 2 is easier, but if you want to go 3, you can. So basically, for 3 in between frames, you would just add a frame that's perfectly in the middle of these 2 bits, and then you'd add like an in between of this and the middle one you just made, and an in between of this and the middle one you made. Oh god, this is gonna be hard. I'm realizing I may have doomed myself a little bit, but it's fine. So we're just gonna bring all the lines just slightly lower than they were before. I'm gonna try and do only 2 frames. Worst comes to worst, I make a 3rd. Not a big deal. So, okay, this hand needs to start moving back a little, which I don't actually know how to do that, but I can try. For the record, the Mika that you see in this video, I have a book on quota. How many people know this? But I have one. If you've read that book, then you know that the name Mika also appears. It is not the same. Same looks, but not the same. This one is meant to be more me. The other one is meant to be more OC. And there we go. We've got a little bit of a start on the first movement. Because obviously this to this isn't very smooth, but it's looking better. See, now I'm going to do a little bit of the working backwards thing I mentioned. Kind of. So basically, I'm pasting my last frame over here so that I can make a new frame and work back from that so I can get this movement to line up with what's next without looking too off. Because I don't want it to look too far into the movement or not far enough. Let yourself make messy sketches. It's fine. It can be extremely lazy. Just try and have a sketch to help you. It can make your animating life much easier. And don't try and refine it. I'm looking at you, Fox! Don't panic about trying to get it too perfect, because if you do that, you'll spend too much time on it and then you'll give up. See, this to this looks a little bit off to me, but that is perfectly fine. So now I have to work on from this to that. So I'm realizing that the movement I'm doing now is essentially just okay. It's basically the reverse of what I just did, so I'm using copy and paste to my advantage, and then I'll tweak it. So I took this frame, and I put it here. And now we're going to use some erasing to help it look like it's going into that. Again, I'm putting the last frame behind the frame I'm working on so that I can get a little bit more of an idea for what I'm doing. So I also took the position the hands were in before so that I could have a little bit more of a guide for a minute here. And now I'm realizing I think I have a better idea, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna do fully working backwards, so rather than trying to leave